All right, so finally my mesh has loaded. I just changed the element size to something a little bigger, just for the purposes of the video, and I'm going to go back a little bit. I know I covered this already, but we're just going to go through and name all of these. So we're going to name this velocity inlet. The outside, we're just going to click on it and name that one pressure outlet. We're going to group all of the wind tunnel walls together. We could just name that wind tunnel walls. All right, and that's going to be about it for this. We have the mesh, which I generated, the name selections, which we could drop down and see. That's pretty much all we have to do for the meshing. We're going to go back to Workbench, and we're going to update the mesh. So just give that a second to load. Hopefully we don't crash here again. All right, we're going to go to Setup, double click that. We're going to go double precision and display mesh after reading. Hit start. And that should load here in a minute. Okay, now we're back to where we stopped the last video and had to restart all of this. Give it one more second here, it should load up. Okay, so looks like it's still loading, but we could just look here. Pretty much everything in general we're going to keep the same. It's going to be pressure based. We're going to keep steady time. Velocity formulation is going to be absolute, and it is planar. We're going to go down to models, and we're going to go to viscous. Double click that. We want to use the K epsilon with two equations. Enhanced wall treatment with the pressure gradient effects. That's pretty much all we have to change here that we're working on. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. Go down here to materials, fluid, and we're just going to double check that this is air. And all of the properties are correct, which they are. It's set to air, so we're going to close that. We could go to the cell zone conditions, and we want to make sure that on the surface body that it is also selected as air, which if we could see here, it's air. So we're going to click OK there. We're going to go to our boundary conditions next. And we just want to, so our inlet velocity is going to be 10 meters per second. So we just want to click on that and edit it. So velocity magnitude 10 meters per second. Pretty much everything else is going to stay the same. Nothing else needs to be changed, but we can just take a look. I guess I can't do it here, but basically the object in the middle, when we do put an object, I know I'm not working on that one, but we can edit that to make it moving in these settings here, and that's where you would do it. So if you wanted rotation on that object, you would click on it, edit it, and add rotation to it. Let me see if that setting is given to us here. I don't think it will be though. Yeah, okay, so we would click wall motion, moving wall, and then we could make it translational, so it's moving, rotational, so if we want to spin on it, and so on. But in this case, we're just keeping it stationary. All right, we're going to go to our reference values, and we're going to compute from the velocity inlet, and it should automatically update to 10 meters per second for the velocity, because that's what we set it to in the boundary conditions. Next, there's not really much else we got to do besides initialize it. So we're going to come here and initialize. It's going to run in the console. When that's done, you can run the calculation. And we're going to get a weird, some weird contours here because I didn't do it exact to what we were working on. But again, this is just an example. I'm going to set that to 1,000 iterations. But this one should converge relatively quickly. We're going to calculate that, and we'll be able to see the graphs pop up here in a second. And it looks like this will be converging soon. There we go. All right. And then from here, in this page, we could gather a bunch of information. We could look at our plots. And I'm running out of time here. I don't have too much memory on my computer to be able to record the whole thing, but you would basically go to plots. And it depends what you're looking for. But that's where I would look to find the variation of pressure, velocity, and so on. So now we're going to go from here. We finished this step, so we could go back to Workbench, and we could go to our results. And this is where we'll be able to go and see the velocity contours, pressure contours, temperature, and so on. So I'll just do one of those as an example, and then the rest should be self-explanatory. So let's wait for this to load up, which it looks like it did. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to click on the Z's in the plot so I get a nice uniform view. We'll come up here and add the contours. So we're going to click on symmetry there, and then depending on what variable we're looking at, so let's say we're looking at the velocity, or we want to see the velocity contours. We'll go ahead and click that. And again, I'm getting weird results because I kind of just rough sketched this. But this is where you'll be able to see it. And then we could go to pressure in here, and whatever else we're looking for. But that's about it. Sorry, we're limited on time here. I hope I covered everything that needed to be covered in terms of this project, and hope you have a good day.